Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play OpenRCT2 Tycoon 2, where today we will begin the challenging parts of OpenRCT Tycoon 2. Now, the first one on this list would have been Infernal Views, as that's the first one on the list, but it has an objective where you have to have 10 different types of roller coasters, each with an excitement rating of 6. As to not bore you folks with like a 5-hour long video, because I don't get how that type of system works. I have instead elected to skip to the scenario you see in front of you today, Lucky Lake. And this is one where things are going to get a little bit challenging. With unlimited funds, as you could tell by the fact that there's no financials on the bottom left corner, but a challenging lake location, which, yeah, this lake is pretty dang big. This park will be a challenge to expand and manage. The objective seems somewhat simple on paper, if kind of big. The objective is to get at least 2,100 guests in the park at any one time. Sounds simple, right? Well, there's two things that are significantly different in this scenario. The first thing, there's no time limit. We could play up until year 50 and we won't fail. But the actual fail condition is significantly different. We must not let the park rating drop below 700 at any time. Although this is a bit of a fib. If you're familiar with a roller coaster tycoon YouTuber called Marcel Voss, you know that you actually get the entirety of March year 1 as like a grace period. The game only starts checking if the park rating is below 700 starting in April year 1, which means you have until April 1st year 1 in order to get your park rating above 700, and then you just have to keep it above 700 at all times. If the park rating drops below 700 at all, there are two things that are going to make this even harder. The first thing is the fact that if the park rating drops below 700 at any time, the game will give us 4 in-game weeks to try to fix the park rating and get it back above 700. If we succeed, then the timer resets and we get to carry on as if nothing happened. But the second thing, and the thing that is going to cause some trouble, if the park rating remains below 700 at the end of an in-game month or 4 weeks, then the park will close down permanently and we will fail the scenario. Which means this might be the very first scenario in this series across both season 1 and 2 where I may have to actually retry a scenario because the park rating got too low and I couldn't fix it worth a damn. As for the curious folks who are curious where the park rating starts, we have 129 guests in the park right behind us, scared all about the lake. The park rating in question starts off at 751, which means as long as we keep it above 700, we will be in business come April, when the game starts checking in constantly to see if the park rating is below 700 or not. But as long as you keep the park rating above 700 at all times, the objective is simple. Turn the 129 guests into 2,100 guests at any cost. And quite literally any cost, because we have unlimited funds. So as mentioned, this lake is ginormous, so it's going to be a bit of a pain to expand, but it's not impossible. This ride selection is okay-ish, I suppose, because we have a few decent transport rides, except for the chairlift, a few decent gentle rides, including the iconic merry-go-round and car ride, a pretty decent selection of roller coasters because we have the Steel Wild Mouse, Junior Coaster, Corkscrew, and a few god-awful old types like the bobsled and the mini suspended coaster. We do have a few thrill rides up our sleeve, including the go-karts, which, as you may know, I like this ride a lot. We also have the same water ride selection as last time, and a pretty big selection of stalls. Not quite as big as Bumblebee Bazaar last time, but still pretty big. And we're already up to 150 guests, but one thing we are going to need to keep an eye on with the help of the Park Rating Inspector plugin, we have to keep an eye on this little bit right here. If at any point it goes below 700, we have to go in and see just what the hell is going on that's screwing everything up. Because most of the park rating will come from happy guests, great ride uptime, so on and so forth. And it's our job to try to maximize the park rating while keeping the negative stuff as low as possible. In other words, keep the positive stuff up, keep the negative stuff up as low as possible. Sounds simple, right? Well, not really, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just raise a little bit of land here, because, or at least raise as much land as I can get away with at first, because we need a lot more flat land to make this work. There we go. And now we can build our first ride. Which, ironically, yeah, there's a couple that have vehicle signs unavailable for some reason. In any case, we're just gonna go ahead and build our own. It's not the prettiest, but it'll have to do to get the job done relatively early on. Now the one thing before we move on is that the way we set up the pathway, incidentally, that's gonna cause some problems for guests who just want to get about. So, just nipping a little bit apart, just by rearranging the path slightly, we can do something like that. And now we are good to go. Or about as close to being as good to go as we can possibly get, considering the circumstances. Now, this isn't a particularly good go-karts, but you get the general idea of how it works at the bare minimum. Building a little bit of path so that way guests can go up and over and under the hills. Plus it sets up a pathway. Plus it sets up us going deeper into the lake. As you may expect, that's kind of important because we have to keep expanding in order to attract more and more and more guests. And in turn, make sure the park rating stays high. And since there's no money, if you really want to be cheesy, you can just spam entertainers if you want. Which in this case I will, because let's face it, we have no money. Why worry about staff wages when it's unlimited funds? I'm pretty sure that's what most people would do in this situation too. Just say, screw it. We got unlimited funds. Spend as much money as possible, so that way we can actually, build a good park instead of being restricted by things like monetary value. The more I speak about this, the more I sound like some kind of greedy ass capitalist. I don't mean to sound like that, number one, and number two, I should point out that this has nothing to do with my political views. And not to mention the fact, this isn't even a political video in itself. It's just a goofy, you know, a goofy let's play video. I don't know why. It's just like the short I made just a little while ago for those of you who caught on. It's just like the short I made. I don't know why I said what I said, but I said what I said, and well, I just made myself look kind of silly while doing so. So, yeah. But at least you guys got to see my very first ever short, even if it was something incredibly weird like that. So I guess there's that. I guess. But you're right. I do apologize for just going all weird like that. Not my intention. But anyways, as I was rambling. If you remember, I built this amethyst log back in the Bumblebee Bazaar, and now I'm gonna carry it over to here and see how well it does when money is of no object. There we go. Open her up, and there you go. And adding more paths just that way guests have options as to where to go, and they can slip underneath this bigger hill. Because let's face it, options are good. Also, as you notice down there, the soft cap is progressively increasing, and as soon as it says 100% or greater, or in other words, when the soft gas cap is above 2100, that's when we know that yes, we are definitely good to go. We just have to get up to that point where the game's like, okay, you're good to go. Go, have fun. And we're just like, thanks. Is it cheesy for me to do something like that? Yes, it is very cheesy. Will it still work in the end? I'm sure as hell hoping so, because, well, yeah. We're already up to 300 guests, and the park rating is not too bad at the moment, about 800, which isn't the worst thing I've ever seen. 395, so we're not even 20% of the way to the soft guest cap needed for the game to be like, hey, you're good. Because we are not good. Or at least not good enough for the game to give us a thumbs up quite yet. The more that I talk about it like that, the more it seems like I have an inferiority complex or something like that. I am just talking a bunch of nonsense here. I apologize for that, but it's better that I'm talking nonsense than you all just listening to just silence for like who knows how long, like 20 minutes or so, maybe longer, depending on how long this scenario goes. I don't know. Come on. Now I have to build it. Now I have to build it all janky and weird because of that. Thanks. Yeah, give us all the cars. All of the cars. And then open it up and just let the cars just do whatever the hell they please. Oh, good. The barf machine has arrived. And what I mean by barf machine is the fact that the suspended swing coaster is available for us to build. And the suspended swing coaster, to my utmost knowledge, has one of the highest, if not the highest, natural nausea ratings in the game. So yeah, pretty much all your designs with it are going to be vomit machines, which, you know, isn't great at all, mind you. It's not a completely terrible coaster or type. It's just a huge, gigantic vomit machine, which, you know, isn't great. Especially since, you know, you have to keep your guests happy, and I don't think them throwing up their lunch everywhere is the definition of, you know, keeping them happy. I don't know. I don't know. Depending on some people, that might be the definition of making guests happy. I don't know. You know, you can let me know your opinion on that in the comments. Just, if you're going to debate about it, please debate about it in a positive way instead of just bashing each other like you're hitting each other like you're a bunch of piñatas. Although the good news is we do have access to first aid rooms, so I couldn't just set it up right outside the regurgitator and, you know, try to cut down on the amount of vomit. And so that's good. And the soft gas cap has reached 540, which means we are about a quarter of the way there, but we are still kind of far off. If we take a look at the rate right now, yeah, we are much better off, up about 900, which is definitely not bad. And now we just have to increase the total ride intensity and total ride excitement, because both of those give an extra 100 points. And as long as we keep the guests happy and the average ride time high, along with those two bonuses, we will be able to stay quite high up there. And the more guests we get, the higher the park rating goes as well. It's part of just natural stuff. So, yeah. And as I was talking, the park rating exceeded 900. So, yeah, I don't think we have to worry about the game knocking on the door or like a debt collector saying, yo, bro, your park ratings are 600. Fix it or I take your shit. I know that was quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, quite blunt, but hey, this game is no joke sometimes. So now we have the Steel Wild Mouse house with Steel Squeak. Not quite as good as the Flying Dutchman's Gold Mine, but still a pretty solid one. And the Steel Wild Mouse is, I think, one of the best wild mouse types in the game, because it has pretty much everything that you would need, plus 4 cross seating, which for throughput is actually pretty good. I know some people are gonna be like, you said that wrong. And hey, in my defense, and I'm not a bona fide vocabularist. I can't exactly say vocabulary words as they come to my mouth, so please cut me a little bit of slack when it comes to that, please. Meanwhile, there's a couple more stalls to try to keep the guests happy in a regard. I say a regard. If I remember correctly, each and every stall adds a little bit to the soft guest cap, so every little bit does help, as I say. Plus, since we have infinite money, we don't have to really worry about that now, do we? kind of sad it's kind of sad that I have to do this just to be able to see where the hell the friggin' exit is at. There we go. Jeez. That was harder than I had any right at being, but at least it's like, hey, it's connected now. Yay! Despite the fact that almost drives me nuts. There we go, a couple of toilets. And the soft gas cap has reached the 1/3 mark. Perfect. Another roller coaster. That's not bad actually, because the more roller coasters and thrill rides we get, the higher the soft gas cap goes up. It's kind of like a handshake agreement, if you want to say it like that, because it's like you build the high gas cap stuff, so that way, the ones that make up the rest of the gas cap can just be like, hey, it's like they're shaking hands, because it's like the high and the low all play a part into that cap. And the more the better. I'm sorry if I seem extra rambly today. I'm not trying to be, it's just me trying to explain things as they come along. Plus the fact that, I have to try to fill in the gaps in between everything. So it's just one of them things where it's just like, hey, I just gotta do something to fill in the dead air. Although dead air makes it sound kind of morbid, so my apologies. There we go. Actually make it wide enough. That way you know what you're doing. Jeez. Park rating is around 950, especially since the average intensity and excitement are looking quite good at the moment. Soft gas got up to 800, so we're starting to get there. Once it gets up to 1050, then it's like, okay, now we're good to go. Since this triple corkscrew gets done, we should be able to see a better update as to what the heck's going on with the inspector. Just waiting on the test results. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. So what that does is boost the total ride intensity and total ride excitement in park ratings, and manages to keep everything relatively in sync. So our park rating is now 976, which is very close to the natural cap of 999. Although with this many rides, I really should hire a few more mechanics. Let's just go up to 5 since, we got the money. And you know what? More entertainers. Because why not? We got infinite money after all. There we go. And in case you're wondering how I'm able to close windows so quickly, it's a keyboard shortcut where if you hold down backspace, you too can make your windows just blink out of existence in a flash. Well, not a literal flash, but you get the general idea. Yeah, it just makes them go away really, really quickly. Oh god, the fucking merry-go-round music. It's not that I have anything against merry-go-rounds and stuff like that. I just don't like hearing the music because it's just so saccharine. It's just, ugh. In any case, with my very miniature rant over in that regard, we have unlocked the Twister Coaster, which is basically the ultimate variety coaster. Because it can do just about anything you want it to do. It has inversions, it has friggin' everything that you want it to do. Like that, I guess? I just gotta connect the paths. Jesus Christ, that wasn't even close. That wasn't even close to that little bit, but we can fix it. There we go. Perfect. Let's open her up. Now I just need to connect this path all the way across like that. Perfect. This is mostly to prevent overcrowding, which is something that can kill the park ring because it makes all your guests unhappier, which, well, you don't want. Because unhappy guests means lower park rating. Lower park rating means we run the risk of getting shut down. And getting shut down means we lose. So, yeah. That's definitely something you need to keep in mind. I'm hoping I'm able to actually help teach you all about the intricacies of this game, even though I'm not by any means like a bona fide expert at the game. Like the aforementioned Marcel Voss or others who are significantly better at this game than I am. And I know people are gonna be like, don't cut yourself down like that, you're still pretty good at the game. And well, yes, that's true because this game's essentially my childhood, and I don't want to toot my horn too much because, you know, reasons. They're trying their best, okay? Don't be a butt. I'm just gonna say it. Don't be an asshole. Just don't. It's like you build a path and then it's just like, oh wait, you're supposed to build it this other way, you dumb idiot. And I know and like I said, I know I shouldn't be cutting myself down, but it's just those heat of the moment kind of things where it's just like, man, don't I feel dumb. Park rating's near max, and the soft gas cap has exceeded 1,000, so we're almost halfway there, quite literally speaking, too, because, well, the soft gas cap is actually 1,040, but we're looking pretty good at the moment. just have to play a game of connect the dots. Or at the very least make the queue line go up right there, which we did. And the soft gas capacitor has exceeded the halfway point, 1,110. I was about to say 1,010, but that wouldn't be correct. Yeah, even if you get the excitement and intensity up to those figures, they only provide 50 apiece, so they're not even going to be your main breadwinners. It's mostly going to be happy guests, average ride uptime, total ride intensity and excitement, and of course the guests themselves, because the guests can provide up to 150 free park rating. And we've actually gained so much park rating, in fact, that we exceeded the 999 cap. We're up to 1,017, but the game will show us 999 because that's the hard-coded cap. It's nice to see just by how much we're overshooting it, because that just means our guests are super duper happy. Which, well, we want. That was a bit of a weird way to do that, while still retaining most of the original path design, but it made it work at the very least. And then I could just add a little side path right next to it to maintain the general shape, so that's good. May not be fully ideal, but at least made it work. 996. It's good. And there's a breakdown. And we go from a good roller coaster type to one that's just meh. And the reverser coaster. I say meh because it's not great, especially since the fact that I can fly off the track like a friggin' asshole. But it's not completely god awful either. It's just bad. Not the absolute worst, but still one roller coaster type that, unless you're held by gunpoint by the game to build it, you're probably just better off saving your money. Oh, because I'm going right over the water. Right. There we go. That's better. know if I would consider this good or not, but it's worth a shot at the very least. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So let's just double check. Don't really have a choice in the matter. Let's at least give it a test. And while we were building, the reverser coaster is enabled. Still worked okay. Guess we won't know until the results come in. Oh, that actually wound up being kind of alright. Right, 6 excitement, 7.9 intensity, and about 4.5 nausea. And I managed to keep the lateral G's under 2.8, so... For my first time building a steel model mouse, this didn't go quite as bad as I thought it would. Funny how that works. Since it's all red and stuff already, I just figured why not name it the Ruby Mouse. Ugh. Then again, I suppose me tripping up my own words has been the common theme so far today. Could be the possibility that the guests might weigh down the ride a little bit, but at the very bare minimum, at least, the good news is at least now the guests will at least be able to enjoy the ride more consistently. Plus the fact that I managed to make the ride time only 33 seconds, so at least it's nice and quick. And we received the award for having the best roller coasters. Yay! Now, as you may have noticed, because we don't have any finances, we do not have access to marketing, which means we have to build a park that has 2,100 guests naturally. I know some of you may have already figured that out by now considering that we've had unlimited funds from the start, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, I wish we could advertise, but we cannot. So yeah, this is a bit of a long scenario just because of that. It's not ungodly slow or anything like some other scenarios. It's just one of them nitpicks, I guess you could say. It's not a deal breaker, but it does make things go slow. Not unbearably slow, just slow enough to where you just want to tear your hair out from your... You just want to tear your hair off your skull. Which is a bit of a morbid way of putting it, but I can't really think of much else to really describe it as, other than just mildly infuriating. I suppose I should put down another set of toilets, since, you know, there's only so much there. Why is this one named differently? You know what, just for you being different, I'm just gonna go ahead and name you Restroom 4, because you are essentially a fourth set of toilets. So sick of this game's dirty little tricks sometimes. It just infuriates me. At least the good news is I could be playing a rage game, and that would be a trip in itself. So yeah. Almost 60% the way there, so we're getting closer. Another roller coaster. Hopefully, it's better than the reverser. Or, you know, in the figurative knock on wood sense. But I don't actually want to knock on wood at the moment. But it's just, you know, it's just a saying. Oh, fuck me. I hate storms, I really do. I just want you to imagine this at full volume, just hearing the thunder and stuff come crashing down. And then you'll see why I'm not particularly a fan of storms. Not only in terms of the roller coaster tycoon sense, but also just, you know, in general. I bet many people are, at this point, are going to be wondering, what the hell happened to all the water? Well, we're up over 1,000 guests, so we are at the quite literal halfway point. And it's a stand-up coaster. It's not utter crap, but it is one that is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, underwhelming. There we go. Also, the mine train coaster and the mine ride coaster are technically two different types of coasters. So if you got confused by that difference, trust me, I don't necessarily blame you. Yes, I know it's not gonna be exactly the right type, but it's about as good as we can get at the moment. So. In case you're wondering, steeplechase is basically the epitome of mediocrity. It's just a very, very mediocre type, and it's basically a slightly better version of the mini suspended coaster. I say slightly better because not only does it not only need 2 units of clearance, but also the fact that it isn't quite as crap as a mini suspended coaster. It's still a bad coaster type, don't get me wrong, but it's at least not quite as bad as the mini suspended coaster, so there's that. Now we just need this long boy path to come. I just connected the 2 sides, that's all you really need to know, because I apparently can't talk or crap. But I can at least attempt to, while at the same time making it sound like I'm just spitting and sputtering, you know, like a friggin' dingus. And again, I know people are gonna be like, why are you cutting yourself down so much? It's just an extremely bad habit, okay? I don't want to talk about it. Especially since this is supposed to be a happy fun. fun Let's Play episode, not me ranting and venting like a friggin' jackass. And there we go. A lot of completely unnecessary path. And the soft gust cap has reached 70%. So we're kind of getting there, but also, I mean, that just tells me that, yes, we still have a long way to go. Oh, comparatively speaking, that is. That's too high. Passing away. There we go. At least now the footpath isn't completely ridiculous. One that we just unlocked is a stand-up coaster, which is another case of it being just kinda meh. I'm gonna have to build this way up in the sky, aren't I? Yep. I have a really stupid idea. There we go. What? Okay. I think it's only saying that because by technicality it's not connected to the path. But it's treated by the guests as good enough. Because as you can see, they are kind of making do with what they got. This is about as best as I can do in order to connect the stand-up coaster with, well, literally everything else. So it's like, shut up game, I tried to connect, all I did was just try to connect everything. If you don't like it, then shut up. And then a bit of a smaller path to connect it down to the rest of the way. That's better. At least that way the paths are connected. So I guess can more easily go from point A to point B to point wherever. Speaking of connecting paths, there we go. Up over 1,200 guests, we're definitely past the halfway point, and then some. Yet another roller coaster to come through the pipe, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised considering the research settings that I set to, but yeah, you get the point. We're just gonna speed things along for a while. Up over 1,300 guests. And it's the wooden coaster that's being researched. That's actually a pretty good coaster type. Oh, jeez. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna take the entertainer approach. Just hire all the mechanics. Or at least 20 of them, so that way we can cut down on this whole entire, oh hey, your mechanics can't do their job right. And it's like, hey, I'm trying to help them, okay? Get off my butt. I know I shouldn't be ranting like this because this isn't an angry grr episode, but it's just these small things that make me so upset. Okay, so at least we have a bit of a plot land for a wooden coaster. If we take a look at the inspect rating, yeah, it's pretty hard not to see why the park rating is well above 999. In fact, it's up over 1,100 because we managed to make everything so much better than it was before. And at this point, other than a couple of extra guests, we are pretty much perfect right at the current park rating at 999 for quite a while. So now we just need to wait for the wooden coaster to come in. And like I said, the good news is there's no conventional time limit of sorts. You only get put on the clock if your park rating is below 700. And right now it's hovering around 1,100, so we don't have to worry about that. But anyways, the wooden roller coaster, an iconic coaster that can do pretty much whatever the hell you want it to. I guess this is about as good as we can get. Good for this cyclone. That makes it kind of more twisty and turny, but I had to do something in order to minimize it, so there you go. Oh, I see why. It kind of got into the hills a little bit. Gotcha. And the soft gust cap has reached 80% of the goal, which means we are approaching the very end of our journey here, but as you may have noticed, we're still a few minutes away from an hour, but it's looking kind of likely that we will exceed an hour. Not exactly what I had in mind, but you know, you gotta take these things on the chin whenever you can. You gotta take these things on the chin whenever you can. More entertainers! And you know what? A few more mechanics, because why the hell not? At least that way we have as many mechanics as we do rides. I know that sounds incredibly stupid, but hey, you gotta do something. Well, this is gonna be an interesting challenge. build a path next to it? Yes, we can. Will you just quiet game? Yeah, that's not gonna really work now, is it? That has got to be the most janky queue line I've ever made. But we just gotta live with it. Mini coaster isn't too bad, but it's definitely the better miniature cousin of the mini suspended coaster. Which I'm not gonna keep repeating myself about how bad it is. Just if you really want to know, just listen to someone like Marcel Voss rant about it, because they do a lot more justice about that kind of thing than I could ever do. And besides, so it would just be me ranting and raving for like 20 minutes, and I don't think anyone wants that. So yeah, just take my word for it, please. Now that makes Cyclone look a little silly, but it's still a little too high for the hills there, so it's like, okay, there we go. We're up to 1550, and unsurprisingly, our roller coaster is coming through the pipeline relatively soon. Now I tried to build La Vibora last time, never got it to work, but this time I can make it work. Bigger queue line, and then we can just connect it up to the rest of the path. Beautiful. It's like Christmas. The bobsleigh coaster is not great. It's another roller coaster type that can fly off the track if you let it, but it's not completely god awful. It's just one of those coaster types that you wish, man, I wish this was better. Unfortunately, no such luck. The spinning wild mouse. Okay, that's different. Not exactly what I'd call outstandishly amazing, but it's a thing. That's all I can really say, is that it's a thing. And I just picked the wrong type. Good job, me. How big is this thing? Oh dear God, it is huge. Okay, I have severely underestimated how big this was. Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's what I get for underestimating, I guess. Just build it straight down. Yes, you're complaining about the length of queues in your park. Sure, shortening problematic queues. Queues are what? Or increasing the ride's throughput. Well, excuse me, you little princesses. I can't make the friggin' thingy slide go any faster. Okay? Just leave me alone. For the love of our nose. See, like I said, it's just these little nitpicky things that just get on my nerves, and then it's just like, stop! Stop picking on me. It's just annoying. Really, really, really annoying. $19.90. We're almost there. We just need a few more rides and stuff to get the guest cap up about 2100. Excuse me. I unlocked the spinning wild mouse while I was finishing putting that down. $2,035. Oh goody, another ride breaking down because screw me apparently. There we go. How high is the park? Not the park range, but how high is the cap going to get here? Oh, come on! 10 short. 10 guests short of the cap. Of the cap we need. 10. Really? 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 So sick and tired of this game trying to bullcrap me. That's got to be the weirdest path. That's got to be one of the weirdest paths I've ever had to build just to make it work. Why? Because apparently, why not? There we go. Now the soft guest cap has exceeded 2100, so now we just have to wait for the guest generation to catch up, which we're at 1800 guests, so we just need to keep attracting guests, and we are fine. I know some people are going to be like, that's a little easier said than done, and to that I actually have to agree, because it's just one of those things that's just like just do whatever until the game finally catches up and lets you win. $21.70. So this should get us up to 2200, which is where I'm going to be content with for now. There it is, 2200. So now we just wait. Or we just speed the game up and just wait for the 2100th guest to arrive. That works too. Because our park rating is so high, the guest generation is about as good as we can get. Despite the fact that we don't even have any awards active right now. the flying coaster. A bit of a weird one, that. But we don't have to worry about it for the time being because we're just waiting for guests to arrive at the park, which we are slowly but surely and now exceeding 2,000 guests. So now we just have to wait until we're closer to 2,100. The natural guest generation works as normal up until the soft guest gap, which is why you want to try to keep it as high as possible, especially for scenarios like this. Oh, shut up already. Yeah. And so now we're right about at the 2,100 guest goal. Well, once a few more guests arrive in the park, that is going to do it for Lucky Lake. Or in this case, I guess Lucky Plains? I don't really know. I basically decimated this lake just to make this work. Environmentalists are going to be pissed at me, but there is the goal. With a whopping company value of $678,408. That's quite a lot of money for unlimited funds. And as you see, guests are still coming in, but now it doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter to get the park rating divides itself by 10 and causes everything to shut down. We have won the scenario with flying colors, with quite possibly one of the bigger parks you will see me build in this particular series. But then again, I guess I shouldn't be saying that too much because, well, I have built some outrageous parks before, and this is merely scratching the surface, especially with OpenRCT2 Tycoon 2, increasing the max map size way higher. But luckily we don't have to deal with any of that in the base game, so we are good in that regard. So, in any case, that is Lucky Lake, or I guess you could call it Lucky Plains, since pretty much the entire lake got removed by the end. This scenario is a little difficult just because of the sheer size it requires you to have just to get 2,100 guests. And it can be especially difficult if your park rating goes to shit for whatever kind of reasons you can find under the sun, under the umbrella, or just under your feet. In any case, this scenario has a pretty good primer to what we're going to be dealing with later on in the game. So at the very least, you get to see that these challenging parks take the challenging part of their name fairly seriously. Not too seriously like the expert parks, but fairly challenging in some regard. But in any case, with my rambling just about over that one, so too is the video. Thank you all for watching all the way through the end. I know this video was a bit of a longer one, especially much longer than my very first foray into YouTube shorts, because that was only like 50 seconds long, and this is gonna wind up being about 70 minutes long, which is kind of ridiculous, but considering the fact that we played maps like Crazy Castle, Amity Airfield, and a couple of others that drove me mad incidentally, like Sparkplug Park from episode 10. Yeah, this is just a little bit of a piece of the pie of what's come. In any case, thank you all for watching. I would like to give a special thanks to my patrons over on Patreon. If you want to join the Patreon and support the channel, you can do so by clicking on the link below in the description. And certain Patreons will be getting special shoutouts as a bonus for their contributions. In any case, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Ciao.